Night settles over the unnamed Filipino city like a heavy curtain. Humid, electric, rustless. Neon lights flicker over narrow streets, illuminating faces that move with purpose, yet hide their intentions in the dark. The city breathes, but its lungs are filled with corruption. Crime is not a visitor here. It is a resident, an honored guest at the table of those who hold power. And into this city walks Leonardo Leo Gallegos, played with that iconic quiet strength by Fernando Poe Jr., a man carved from hardship, every line in his face carrying the weight of years spent fighting battles no one else dared to face. He is not a hero who seeks recognition. He is a man who simply refuses to be broken. He has returned home not with pride, but with grief, a grief he carries like a scar across his soul. Scene 1. Home is no longer home. Leo steps off the rusted provincial bus, carrying nothing more than a duffel bag, and a silence that hangs over him like an armor. His village lies in the outskirts of the city, once peaceful, now visibly wounded. Houses are worn, laughter is rare, and the familiar faces he passes greet him with respect and fear. A mother pulls her child closer as Leo walks by. A shopkeeper nods, but keeps glancing toward the end of the street, as if expecting someone to emerge. It doesn't take long for Leo to notice it. Everyone is afraid of something. Or someone. He reaches the small wooden house he once shared with his younger brother Ramon. Instead of a homecoming, he finds a grave marker standing beneath the mango tree Ramon planted as a child. And just like that, Leo's silence fractures. The city has taken his brother, brutally, senselessly. Murder disguised as an accident, grief disguised as fate. But Leo has not returned simply to mourn. He has returned to ask why. Scene 2. The first whispers of truth. In the local eatery, whispers shift when Leo enters. Men who once laughed with him now lower their eyes. He asks about Ramon, but answers come wrapped in caution. Finally, the owner, Mangturo, speaks. Leo, your brother got involved in something he shouldn't have. The men who rule this district, their shadows reach farther than the police, farther than the law. Leo's jaw tightens, but he does not raise his voice. He simply asks, who? Mangturo shakes his head. Ask too loudly and you end up like him. Leo leaves with more questions than answers, but also with the certainty that Ramon didn't die because of foolishness. He died because he resisted something powerful. Scene 3. A city that tests him. Leo begins walking the city at night, retracing Ramon's steps. He talks to vendors, tricycle drivers, street kids, those who see everything because they are unseen. A pattern emerges. Every road leads back to one man, Don Salvador Monteverde, a political kingmaker disguised as a philanthropist. His empire stretches through gambling dens, illegal trades, and a private army dressed as security personnel. People fear him the way people fear storms. And Ramon, it seems, discovered something that threatened that empire. Something worth killing for. Scene 4. The first clash with the syndicate. One night, Leo is cornered by 4 men in a narrow alley. Their tattoos mark them as Monteverde's foot soldiers. Their message is simple. Stop asking questions. Leo looks at them with a calm that unsettles them, and what follows becomes the first spark in the war that will engulf the city. He fights not with flashy moves, but with FPJ's signature grounded power, clean, precise strikes that end encounters quickly. Within minutes, the men are on the ground, defeated, humiliated. He leaves them conscious enough to crawl back to their master with the message, "I am not done." This act sets everything in motion. Monteverde finally takes notice, and the city feels the shift, like the first tremor before an earthquake. Scene 5. The woman who reveals the truth. Enter Isabel, a former community organizer who worked closely with Ramon. She finds Leo at Ramon's grave one evening and approaches him with hesitation and guilt. "I should have protected him," she says, trembling. She explains that Ramon had uncovered evidence of Monteverde's newest operation, something darker than the usual smuggling and extortion. Something involving land grabbing, relocation scams, and forced disappearances. Ramon tried to expose it and paid the price. Isabel hands Ramon's notebook, its pages filled with names, locations, numbers. Evidence. Leo grips it like a weapon. In that moment, grief transforms into purpose. Scene 6. Leo becomes the storm. Leo begins hitting Monteverde's operations from the shadows. A warehouse collapses under mysterious circumstances. A shipment disappears. Street toughs find their weapons confiscated. A corrupt official receives an anonymous file containing damning proof. Each move is calculated, surgical, and aimed at slicing Monteverde's empire from its foundations. The city feels it. People talk. Rumors spread. Some say a ghost is avenging Ramon. Others whisper that justice has finally awakened. But no one suspects Leo. Yet. Monteverde, however, knows. Experience tells him when a threat is personal. He orders a manhunt. Scene 7. The heat closes in. Leo returns home one night to find his small house ransacked, his belongings burned. A message scratches the door. "Stop, or you'll join him." But instead of fear, Leo feels a calm resolve. The enemy has revealed himself. There is no turning back. Isabel tries to dissuade him, telling him that Ramon wanted change, not bloodshed. But Leo explains quietly, "Sometimes the law is the very thing that protects the guilty. My brother deserved better." And Isabel, seeing the fire in his eyes, realizes there is no stopping him, only helping him. Scene 8. The protagonist becomes a symbol. Leo's actions begin to ripple outward. Street vendors feel braver. People who once hid now whisper Monteverde's name without trembling. A sense of possibility returns, a rare thing in a city where hope had long been dead. Leo doesn't intend to become a hero, but heroes are not chosen by themselves. They are chosen by the times. Monteverde responds with violence, unleashing his private army, bribing officials, painting Leo as a criminal. The tension in the city builds.
The air hangs heavy over the city, thick with fear and anticipation. Monteverde's men stand on street corners now, armed and alert. Police patrols suddenly double overnight, not for protection, but intimidation. Loud whispers echo in every alleyway, as if the city itself is trying to warn Leo. They're coming. But Leo is not hiding. He is watching. From rooftops, from abandoned warehouses, from the shadows where he has always belonged. He sees Monteverde's tightening his grip, sees the fear returning to people's eyes. And he knows. If he stops now, Ramon's death becomes meaningless. If he pushes forward, everything may burn. Leo chooses the fire. Scene 2. Isabel's warning. Isabel arrives breathless at Leo's safe house, an old bodega Ramon once used for community meetings. "Leo, listen to me," she says, hands shaking. "Monteverde's men are gathering at the port tonight. They're preparing something big, something meant for you." Leo evaluates her words in silence. Isabel sees fatigue in his eyes, not weakness, but the exhaustion of a man carrying the weight of justice alone. "You're just one man," she pleads. "You can't fight an army." Leo finally speaks, voice calm and level. "I don't need to fight the army. I only need to break the man who commands it." Isabel realizes he's already made up his mind. Scene 3. The port ambush. Night fog blankets the docks as Leo moves with disciplined precision, every step measured, every breath controlled. Men with rifles patrol the crates, vehicles idle with engines running. Orders fly through the air. "Bantayan mo sila bago natin sila mahanap. Gusto ni Monteverde siyang buhay. Buhay na siniraan." Leo climbs onto a stack of containers, surveying the scene like a predator before the strike. He pulls a piece of Ramon's notebook from his pocket, a map Ramon had drawn of Monteverde's smuggling routes. "Para sa'yo lang ito, Ramon," he whispers. Then he sabotages the fuel line of the nearest truck, letting gasoline drip down onto the wood planks below. Moments later, boom! A massive explosion rips through the port, sending flames into the sky. Men scatter in chaos, shouting orders that dissolve into panic. Leo uses the confusion as cover, taking down operatives with FPJ's signature efficiency. Quick disarms, powerful strikes, and a fearless forward momentum. By the time reinforcements arrive, half the shipment is destroyed. Leo vanishes back into the night, leaving behind a single message spray-painted across a steel container. Ramon still speaks. Scene 4. Monteverde on his throne of fear. Monteverde sits in his mansion's private hall, staring at the growing flames at the port through CCTV screens. His composed smile fades into something colder. "Akala niya akong mapapahiyan," he mutters. His top enforcer, Captain Beltran, steps forward.